This is our Feelings Kit class, and I'm so excited for everyone to come here. This is definitely a group discussion, so we'd love to have input. Feel free to interject and just be able to give your input. Okay, so welcome y'all. My name is Amy Castles. I'm very happy that y'all are here. This class is about emotions, and emotions can be very difficult and scary, and it's so much easier to suppress emotions than to actually recognize, feel, and process them. And I think that we can all agree that sometimes we don't want to deal, we just want to push them down and then just move on. But when we start to release these emotions that begin to just bury and compound, then we move into a positive direction and into a positive state that actually can give us a free lifestyle. Somebody gave me an analogy today that she said, I'm like a septic tank. If you know what a septic tank is, there's a bunch of stuff at the bottom of the septic tank, right? And at the top is where the clear water comes. But when something happens, it's like sticking a stick in there and stirring up all the beep. So sometimes these things can happen just like that. And that was something that happened to me just yesterday. And I had a reaction towards someone based on something or a behavior that they did in the past. And they did something that triggered and reminded me, and it stirred up stuff. So therefore, I treated them like the past. And that wasn't fair to them, and it wasn't fair to me. That was a moment where I said, well, I didn't say that right at that moment of time. It took me 24 hours later and a call to a friend to say, hey, that's something we need to work on. We need to clean out the septic tank, right? We learn about and develop emotions from birth. Believe it or not, babies feel emotions from the time they are conceived. Their conception is very important. Obviously, it needs to be a happy conception. Through early childhood and development and onward, emotions are so important. And in fact, one of the best things you can do as a parent is teach your children how to recognize emotions and be able to learn and process them. Remember, in school, they would have the emotions charts where the kids could point to how they were feeling. Somewhere along the way, those got dwindled down into just a few emotions. We don't really identify with saying, I'm feeling perplexed right now. Nobody says that. Or I'm feeling overwhelmed. We just say, I have anxiety. But when we start to dig, we can start to recognize this. For men, oftentimes it's anger. These emotions just go straight to anger. So in this class, we're going to share some popular essential oils to use that can help with various emotions. We'll also share some different techniques and some testimonies throughout the class where you can see them in real life. We don't want to give you just a canned speech class. This is about real usage from real people. There's science behind this. When we're talking about emotions, we have to talk about the limbic system. The limbic system is a part of the brain. It's nerves and networks in the brain that control basic emotions. And these emotions, it's basically your emotional brain, your limbic system. It supports 5 major functions: emotions, behavior, motivation, long-term memory, and a sense of smell. So your sense of smell triggers the limbic system, and then the emotions come. So essential oils have the ability to tap directly into the limbic system to stimulate memories and emotions. As you inhale essential oils, the tiny molecules enter the nasal cavity and they pass by the olfactory bulb. This olfactory bulb is the part of your limbic system, and it's therefore your response to an aroma that's going to be emotional before it's rational. So you're not going to go, I smell this, I smell this, I smell this, and then let me think about the memory of where it came from. Oh, I just remembered my grandma was super awesome. Oh, now I have wonderful feelings. No, it's backwards. It's smell the oil, feel wonderful feelings, then you remember why. So it's that stage versus the opposite. Your sense of smell triggers emotions based on relationships. If you had a good relationship, that should be a good emotion that comes up, but also can be a negative emotion. So this can trigger some things in you, feelings of anger, sadness. That's why it's important to be able to identify feelings and emotions so that we can stop and go, wait, why am I feeling sad all of a sudden? Let's work into this. Let's dig into this. Okay, so I'd love to have Miss Sarah Rasnick share her testimony of what she did with the Feelings Kit. So Sarah, go ahead.
Hi. Sorry, I just got my convention delivery here, so I'm geeking out over here. Maybe if you guys have a minute at the end, you can see the new diffuser. All right, sorry. So about, I guess it's almost been a little over 2.5 years ago, I lost my dad to cancer. It was a 6-year battle. So we knew it was coming, but we're never ready. And I didn't know my dad until I was 22. So losing him after knowing him for, I guess it was 10 or 12 years, bad at math, was hard. It was really hard. And I had, my kids were 2 and 1 at the time. And he lives in Rochester, New York. I live in Houston, Texas. We flew up for the funeral and came back, and I was just not good. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So, my kids needed me every second of the day, and I was barely functioning. I would put them in their I would feed them, I would put them in their playroom, and then oftentimes I would go and sit in the next room and just listen and make sure that they were okay, but I didn't want to get off the couch. I just wanted to be under the covers and not even process the world. And so I called a really good friend of mine, actually my enroller and sponsor, and I told her what I was going through, and I said, is there anything oil-wise that can help? I have heard over and over and over at convention and things about oils and emotions, and honestly, to this point, I didn't really believe in them, but I'm willing to try anything at this point. And sweet person she is, she used her Essential Rewards points and sent the Feelings Kit to my door. And I got it, opened it, didn't have a clue what to do with it. So I Googled Young Living Feelings Kit and found a protocol. And it was this big long thing that said it was going to take like 2 hours. And I was like, well, I got 2 little ones. I got 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so I wrote down, it's actually been a while since I've had to walk through this. So that's a testimony in itself. So I had to write it down and remember what I used to do. So I would, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, I would open Valor and put a drop on one of the soles of my feet, either left or right, whichever. And I would say, I am grounded in my purpose. And I would say that in my mind as a prayer. You can choose whatever you believe. And then I would get Harmony, and I would put it on the top of my head, the crown of your head. And I would say, I am at harmony with those around me and in my circumstances. And then this one was huge for me. So forgiveness, people think of forgiveness as forgiving other people. And oftentimes we also need to forgive ourselves for things. And so that was a huge realization in itself when I read that. So maybe that helps someone else as well. But I would put a drop of forgiveness on my hand and put it around my navel, around my belly button, clockwise. So the way that you do it matters. So clockwise is kind of like an opening effect as opposed to counterclockwise, which is like a closing effect. And I would say I forgive myself and others of their trespasses. And then I would get release. These all come in the feelings kit over my liver. And I would say I release negativity, all negativity. And then present time. And this one is huge for me and a lot of women that have a hard time being present where they are and not having that to-do list in their head. So I would say, so that one you put on your chest and you kind of use a tapping motion to allow the negative feelings to release. And you would say, I am present in every situation. Now, just a side note, you can alter what you say with these. This is just what I said. And then inner child. So inner child was made on the premise that somewhere along the line, people lose their innocence, their childhood innocence. And so it's supposed to help bring it back. So that one you put under your nose. And I would say I reconnect with my inner child and my childlike self and creativity. And then you would get valor again, and you close with valor. So you would say, or I would say, I am grounded in my purpose, and I would close it on the opposite foot that I started with. And so I would take, like I said, 5 minutes morning, right after I got out of bed, and then at night before I went to bed, and do that. And it made all the difference in the world, like to the point where my husband was like, if I skipped a morning or an evening, my husband was like, go take 5 minutes and use your oils, because I can tell. I'll just say that I can tell. Go do your thing. And then also another thing was Trauma Life. I ordered that for myself, and that one is obviously for experienced trauma. They say to put it over your heart. So I ordered that one, and it's one that I say points for, and I got it a day when I was not good. And I had a huge headache, and that just wouldn't go away. And I opened up the bottle and I smelled it, and I was very upset that I really did not like the smell of it. And I had always heard, if you don't like the smell of it, it means that you need it. Like, I didn't want that oil to exist anymore. I hated it that much. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty upset because I don't want to wear that one over my heart right now. And so I went back to what I was doing, not really functioning. 20 minutes later, I found myself laughing and playing with my kids. And I was like, okay, well, that's the only thing that I've done different. About 2 hours later, my headache started coming back, and I went back in the kitchen and I found my oil, and I put it over my heart. And again, about 20, 30 minutes later, my headache started to fade and I started to be myself again. And so I started carrying it around in my pocket. And now to this day, I love this oil. I don't run out of it, and I actually like the smell of it. So that is the truth. I actually did need it pretty bad. And like I said, it made a huge difference.
Now, how did you learn how to do the protocol?
I just Googled it. I didn't have the mind space to dive in. So
it for a certain amount of time.
I did do it until the oil was gone, but I would say that I noticed a huge difference after probably 5 days of being consistent. I noticed that it started making a huge difference, and probably 2 weeks in is when my husband started telling me that he could tell a difference.
Wow.
So, and I actually diluted them a little bit. I made rollers of them. So, I even didn't use them as, full potency. So I think I took 5 ml rollers and I put like 10 drops of the oil, like each oil separately. So I made 6 rollers, if that makes sense, and put 10 drops in a 5 ml roller, and then filled the rest with the carrier oil, and I would apply them that way.
That's awesome. So what you can see a pattern is that it was the consistency of using the oils every day. It was the powerful different blends or the different oils that are within each blend that played a huge role in this. In addition to that, it was the affirmations that she used. And if you don't really understand affirmations, it's, you know, would you, if you saw a little 4-year-old child saying, I'm ugly, you would tell the child, don't say that, you know, to tell that child, don't say that, because those words speak power. Well, the opposite also speaks power too, right? We know that. You would tell the child, you're beautiful, you have to love yourself, say you're beautiful, you know. As adults, we think these thoughts inside of our head. It's just as bad, or it's just as rough on our bodies to think these thoughts as it is to say them out loud. So when you think of how important that is, think of the affirmation aspect of it as well. So what you choose as an affirmation is completely up to you. There's going to be tons of stuff online though. I mean, there's a book by Louise Hay called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. That's an excellent book. There's a ton of them that you can look up for just learning how to do affirmations. So we're going to move on to some of our oils here. I hope you can see it. I don't know how to turn off notifications on my computer and they keep coming in. So anyway, here's Harmony. This particular oil I actually really like to bring to my yoga class. I love it because I want to have harmony in the room. I'm really excited to have the aroma rings here pretty soon because they already are scented with oils. However, you can rescent them if you want to. And those of you who don't know, these are little silicone nose rings that have essential oils on them. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited. So I'm totally taking that Harmony and I'm going to put it on that little nose ring to put in my nose. But many of you are new on this call, and it's really hard to be able to go through all the different oils that are in these blends. But the best thing I can tell you is that if you were to go to Home Depot or Lowe's to a plant store and you go and look at the different plants, you're gonna find that impatient flowers are really, really, really cheap. But if you go to the roses, they're really, really expensive. So the same goes for these essential oils that are in these particular blends. So those of you who know about essential oils and know the value of some of these, I'm just going to tell you what's in Harmony and you'll automatically know why. If you're new, you're probably not going to know why. Sacred frankincense, okay, those come from trees that are over 30 years old. The tree has to be 30 years old before they can harvest the, sacred sandalwood. They have to be over 30 years old for them to harvest the sacred sandalwood. That makes it a pretty valuable oil. Lavender, ylang ylang, frankincense, orange, angelica, geranium, hyssop, Spanish sage, black spruce. Black spruce trees are literally, they're just not in abundance. And in order for them to find the trees, the black spruce trees, they had to go and completely open up a new farm in Canada. Blue spruce trees, they actually have to harvest, like forage for blue spruce trees so that they can get those in Idaho. Coriander, bergamot, lemon, jasmine, Roman chamomile, palmarosa, and rose essential oil. These are all super powerful. This blend of oils is very uplifting and it brings about harmony in the house. I probably could have used this yesterday in diffusing it if I want harmony in my house. So this goes beyond the feelings kit. So there's a protocol that you can do with it, but you can also use it as a once and done. You just grab the harmony, like, oh, I need some harmony right now, adding affirmation to it. So you can also use it with the different energy centers within the body. People also called them, they're also called chakras too. So balancing and unblocking these different energy centers allows for the energy to flow efficiently through the body. If you were to look at the chiropractic charts, you would see that there are a ton of nerve, like there's just these energy centers where there's just a big old network of nerves at the base of your spine and at the navel, right here at the solar plexus underneath your chest, in your throat, and right here between your eyes on top of your head. So there's just, you want this flow, and that's what harmony does. Okay, forgiveness. This would be Jen.
Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm going to talk about forgiveness, and Sarah did an awesome job of actually talking about forgiveness, because I didn't think about forgiving myself also. That's a huge one. Especially being a mom or a dad, we don't always make the right choices and do the right things, and we need that forgiveness just like our kids do. So forgiveness is not always easy, right? At times it feels more painful than the wound that we may have suffered. To forgive the one that inflicted it, whether it be us or someone else. But there is no peace without forgiveness. So we should all forgive. We may not forget, but we should all lend everyone some forgiveness. In a life full of relationships, there will be many times that we need to forgive. When we are bothered by the actions of others or from our past, or we are filled with anger, hate, resentment, and emotional pain, forgiveness is a way to release all of those negative emotions from your inner body and begin the healing process. One useful technique is to combine deep breathing while inhaling forgiveness essential oil. Deep breathing can be as easy as stopping what you're doing and just taking a slow breath. Amy probably knows a lot about this from yoga. You're gonna feel your lungs expand and fill up, and then you're just gonna release your breath just as slowly as you took it in. Repeat this 2 more times. And the blend forgiveness contains sesame, melissa, geranium, frankincense, royal Hawaiian sandalwood, coriander, angelica, lavender, bergamot, lemon, ylang ylang, jasmine, helichrysum, Roman chamomile, palmarosa, and rose. Those are some really potent, expensive oils in this one little bottle. That combination provides an aroma that supports the ability to forgive yourself and others while letting go of negative emotions. It is an important part of our personal growth, because if we don't forgive somebody, we're always standing back. We're not allowing ourselves to be fully who we are, because we haven't forgiven ourselves or someone else. So how do we use this? You can use this topically, or you can use it in your diffuser, as Amy said. You can apply 2 to 4 drops directly to your right rib cage or the center of your right foot. Dilution is not required except for the most sensitive skin. You're going to diffuse 4 to 6 drops, 1 to 3 hours if you need it. And the suggested affirmation is, I learn from all of life's experiences. Again, like Sarah said, it can be an affirmation that is something that you find that you're going to say to yourself over again. So that is forgiveness.
I literally
feeling skills.
I just forgave you for everything, Jen. I'm
for my stumbles on my words.
forgiving you all for everything.
Thank you. I love you too. I forgive myself.
Y'all, so I just poured this out, and I didn't realize I was out of it, but I've forgotten about this oil. I must have been taking a bath in it. Like, I mean, seriously.
Forgiveness.
Yes, it smells so good. It's better
Really
to use it. So,
good.
and these again, you can do the protocol like Sarah said, but you're going to learn from this protocol, and you're going to have some major growth from it. But then that protocol and the feelings kit is going to sit on the shelf. So there's going to be moments where you're going to be like, I need to go grab some forgiveness right now. And you're going to go over to the minute and go grab some forgiveness, because you're going to know how to use it. You're going to know how it works. And I know that many of you are new here, and it seems really weird to put something on the bottom in the middle of one foot, or on your left earlobe, or on the right fingernail. I just made the fingernail part up. But it's very strange. I totally get it. There's one that's crazy with inner child, and you put it underneath here, underneath on the roof of your mouth. And it's so wild, but y'all, it works. Our bodies are so complex and connected. So just ask any acupuncturist. He can tell you all about that. Okay, Katie, you are up with your inner child.
Hi guys, I'm Katie. So I'm here to talk about inner child. So I first started out with the feelings kit. Tiana is actually the one who got me on it. She kind of posted like her kind of protocol she does in the mornings with some oils, and I already had Valor and was totally hooked on that. And so she was talking about that she was using. So I'm like, okay, I'll go buy that. And I go and look, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of expensive to buy them all. So I actually bought them all one by one as I tried them. And I've already rebought the feelings kit because I use these all the time. Reacts immediately to an oil the way that you think you're going to. I do want to say consistency is key. Like Sarah said, she did this for 5 days consistently before she really started noticing a change. And so I think people sometimes if they're new to oils, they get one and they're like, okay, I'm going to put this on, I'm going to feel like a kid again. And it's like, you don't always exactly feel exactly how you're going to feel once that's consistent. So I do want to point that out for anybody who is just starting out. Try it for a few days before you really kind of evaluate how you're feeling. So inner child, this one was actually first formulated for kids who have gone through periods of abuse. And so this is a great oil that a lot of like social workers use. I used it in my classroom. I diffused it, and I love this oil. For one, bare minimum, it smells amazing. So even if you're not trying to get the effect of the oil, it smells delicious. It's got orange, tangerine, ylang ylang, jasmine, one of the spruce trees, I can't remember if it's blue or black, and then Royal Hawaiian sandalwood. So it is a beautiful oil. So this is to help you reconnect with your inner self and your identity. So it doesn't always have to be a childhood memory. It's for emotional balance, and it's supposed to stimulate memory response. Just like Amy was saying in the beginning, like all oils are going to stimulate some kind of memory because you're using your olfactory system. So smell is the most powerful sense that you can use that is going to immediately go back to your brain. It's the fastest way. It's going to immediately stimulate some kind of response. And so this oil, I actually didn't really start noticing what its true purpose was for me until I really started using it during my first stages of postpartum depression. And so this was a stage of my life that was just completely different from my previous self. Like as soon as you're a mom, a piece of you kind of dies away, and you kind of have to pick that back up as you go. And for a while, I kind of like went through a stage where I missed that old Katie. I missed, you know, parts of me that I can't have back, at least for another 18 years. And maybe none even then, but this, it was so strange when I first started using this, and I'm not making this up. I specifically, every time I smell this oil, I specifically picture a very happy memory of me and my family on the Guadalupe River. And no, this does not smell like the Guadalupe River. It does not even smell anything like water. It just triggered that response in me. And this oil anchors me to a happy feeling. And so whether it's a happy memory, or even if it just stimulates a happy feeling, and then you think of a happy thought, just like Amy said, that is what this oil's purpose is for, is to connect you with a part of yourself that you cherish, whether that's, you know, your inner child, or if it's just something about your past or your present that you truly connect with your self-identity. So this oil is just such a good one to have if you are struggling through a stage of your life where you're transitioning. I actually just purchased this oil. I hope it gets here in time too, for my sister-in-law, who is currently, she just went through a life-altering experience, and she is now, right after that, moving 4 hours away from where she is now, picking up everything she owns, changing jobs. So it's just a really big transition in her life. And I really think that this, along with Valor and along with Harmony, all three of those oils are really going to just ground her. So it's a really good gift for yourself and for others. So great oil.
So I would love to share something too. When I went to convention for the first time, I don't know how this happens, but for some reason, I just always connect with people at the right moments. And it's just so awesome. It makes life really fun. And Nikki knows this stuff. And I just somehow connected with these two little old ladies. They were really little. I'm saying little because they were maybe 5 feet. And for some reason, both of them just, I mean, we're in a huge expo, and they just, one comes up to me and the other one comes up to me, and they're like, hi. And I was like, hi, you know, and I just started talking to them, and they just said, have you ever used Inner Child? And I was like, no. And she said, put a drop of Inner Child on your thumb and press it to the roof of your mouth and walk backwards 5 times. I'm like, what in the hell am I getting myself into at this place? Okay. So I did. I walked backwards, and then I turned around and I walked backwards the other way. And then I turned around, and all of a sudden I just started crying, and I didn't know why. I had no idea why. And then I remembered something, and I was like, where in the crap did that come from? And I couldn't even tell you what it is now, but it's released thanks to Inner Child, so that's good. But they do something powerful. It's wild. So this one is present time. We all have moments of needing to just like come back into the present today, only today. The past is behind us. We can learn from it, but it doesn't exist anymore. The past is the past. It doesn't exist anymore. The future is ahead of us. We can prepare for it. But the present is here, right here in this moment. That is by Thomas Monson, not Amy Castles. Okay. So present time contains sweet almond, bitter orange, black spruce, and ylang ylang. So not a whole laundry list of different oils, but a powerful blend of a few different oils that work really great to help get you to focus back into the moment, into the here and now. Many of us are thinking about the past which can bring on feelings of depression. Or if you're thinking about feelings of the future, can bring you anxiety. So that is a pretty dirty mix right there, and not a fun little tornado to be in. That's for sure. Using present time when you're spending time with your family, friends, social gathering, just to put your mind in the moment. Again, you're going to use it with the protocol of the feelings kit, but there's also other uses outside of the feelings kit together. Topical, 2 to 4 drops directly to the area 2 inches below your belly button. You don't have to dilute, because remember, it's already actually diluted because of the sweet almond oil. You can dilute it more if you need it, but you don't have to. Suggested affirmation: I see clearly. I'm not really sure what that has to do with present time, but it said it right here, so I read it. You can make up your own. I am present. I am here. I am happy. I am now. I just made that. That rhymes. Did that rhyme? I did. I made that rhyme. Okay, Tana, you're next.
Okay, guys. Hi, I'm Tana. Whenever it comes to essential oils, anxiety, and emotions, and addressing those things with oils is like my bread and butter, because that's what hooked me on essential oils. And the feelings kit is the first thing that I bought when I saved up my points on Essential Rewards. I worked, I was doing my Essential Rewards orders, and I was just building up those points, knowing that once I got to the amount that I needed, I was going to order the feelings kit. Because I saw Sarah talk about the feelings kit at a class, and I already was using oils, but I didn't know how they really could help address your emotions until I heard her talk about that. So I knew that's what I wanted to get. I want to talk about release. So it's so weird, because right now, as I'm starting to talk about it, it makes me want to be emotional, because that's how passionate I am about this. So release is one of the 6 oils that comes in the feelings kit. And release does exactly what it's titled. It helps you release emotions. So in the protocol that I follow to use the feelings kit, it's a lot like what Sarah was talking about. I have different places on my body. In the morning when I get up, I use them really quickly, and I say my affirmations over myself out loud, and in the evening. And I did that protocol for probably about, I would say maybe about a month, and I realized that I was consistent. My emotions were consistent. I wasn't on a roller coaster, and being on a roller coaster of emotions is exhausting. And I noticed that it was something super quick and easy for me to do. So what I do is I take release and I put it over my liver. So, especially in Chinese medicine, they talk about but it's known all over the world that your liver is like one of your major detox organs. I mean, it gets all the nasty out of your body that's not supposed to be there, right? It filters things like that. Well, when you have the way that we live as Americans, we have toxic overload. We don't eat very well, and we are taking chemicals all the time, all day. Your liver gets burdened. It gets overloaded, and it's not smoothing things out. It's not filtering the way it needs to. And emotions get backed up and stored in your liver. A lot of anger and things like that. And it's no wonder that we start to have these emotions. And in my mind, I associate like anxiety attacks with an overload of emotions. And that's where release comes in. So I take 2 drops, put the 2 drops on my hand, and then your liver is right below your right side of your ribs, and I rub it all over my liver, and I say out loud, I'm releasing every negative emotion that I have in my body right now, and I'm letting it go. And then I just sit there and rub my hands, and I sit and inhale it, and then I will sit and inhale the bottle. If you suffer from anxiety attacks, get this oil. I'm serious, y'all. If you suffer from those moments when you're like sweating and you're about to cry because you don't know what's happening, you're going to need this oil. There's been multiple times that I've been able to calm myself back down with this oil. One time at a wedding shower, my cousin walked in and tears were welling up in her eyes from an emotional conversation that she had just had. And she's about to have an anxiety attack. And I pulled her to the side and I just started rubbing it on her. And she sobbed. She sobbed, y'all. And she was like, I can't even tell you what I'm crying about. And I told her, I said, don't tell me. Just let it keep rolling. Just let it keep going. And it's something that whenever you need to let go of emotions, it's what you need. So also I follow the protocol with it, but I'm a teacher, so I get stressed out pretty easily during the day. So I keep Release and Valor in my pocket at all times. So I'm usually always cold because it's cold in school, and I have like my school jacket on, and every morning I will put these in my pocket and I keep them in my pocket. And my students know that when they see Miss Mann pulling out an oil and smelling it, they don't think anything of it anymore, because I do use Release and Valor all the time outside of the protocol of using the 6 oils. And Release is, a lot of the Feelings Kit oils are a little bit more floral, but Release is not. It's a bit of a darker smell. Not dark, but heavier smell, I guess. Not as light and airy. But y'all, Release is the best oil that I've ever used. So
I love the different oil combinations that are in there. There's the Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood that is, I think, the 4th ingredient of there. And that is from Hawaii, where they have a Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood farm. And I love the grapefruit and the tangerine. So anytime you have citrus smells, they're going to really amplify and kind of, they're happy oils. They're just the happy oils. That's why they put the citrus oils in the CBD that we have, because those terpenes are really great for making you happy. I'd love to share with y'all this real funny story real quick. When I travel, and especially when I go to places where there's going to be a lot of people, I get really anxious, and then I get constipated. I know y'all are like, what? Okay, so I go at convention, and this is really embarrassing, and I can't believe I'm recording this, but I go and I ask the psychologist that's there, because she gives a presentation on all these oils. And I said, what can I do about, because she was talking about the physical aspects of holding on to different emotions. And I said, I get so bloated when I travel, and I don't know why. It's like, I'm so bloated and nothing's moving. And she said, that's because you're anxious and it's having a physical response with your digestion. She goes, you need to go get Release essential oil and put it all over your lower abdomen. So I walked straight over to the expo where they had all the samples, and I just doused my hand in that Release oil, because you can do that. I mean, people are like taking a bath in those oils because they're just everywhere. Well, I just grabbed me a big old handful of that Release. I rubbed it all over my lower abdomen, and I'm telling you, I was crop dusting everybody across that field. I could barely go. I mean, it works fast. Okay, that is all. I know, Vanessa.
So present time, if you do Release in present time, that works even better.
Oh, like to go like right now? You're like, I'm not talking about go later. Right now.
Yeah, Release in present time.
I love it. Okay, Vanessa is next. Look at her. She can hardly stand it. Go, Vanessa, your Valor. Courage. Hey, you need some courage right now, because Vanessa gets embarrassed for me. Look at her.
Hey, listen, okay, I'm going to tell y'all something really funny. I'm sitting here listening. First of all, I'm not going to lie. This is all very fascinating to me, because I'm the type of person that I'm a barrier. Like, I just bury things, and I just bury it some more, and I just bury it some more. And I'm like sitting here listening to all y'all, and I'm like, okay, so the Feelings Kit is going on my order this next time, because I am not going to bury it anymore. So when I'm calling all of y'all to cry my eyes out, and y'all are like, oh my God, she's psychotic, just know it's all of y'all's fault. Okay. So we got through that, because I have been with Young Living now for 6 years, and the only 2 oils out of the Feelings kit that I've used are Valor, that I'm going to talk about, that is my all-time favorite oil, and then Harmony, just to diffuse, because I love to have Harmony. So okay, so let's get down to Valor. So anyways, like I said, it's my favorite oil. It is the oil that comes in the starter kit. It actually came in the starter kit when I first joined, and then it went out of stock for like ever and ever, because some of the oils in Valor had either one, the rosewood was going, and like it was going extinct, and then another one of the oils they couldn't distill. And so Young Living is never going to compromise anything that they do. And so once we finally got Valor back, y'all, I have to show y'all something really quick, because y'all are going to definitely think I'm psychotic then. Okay, so here's all my bottles. Hold on, I'm not done. Hold on, I'm not done.
You can't.
Of Valor. No, y'all. Sorry. This is all, let me move my phone. All bottles of Valor.
Order.
Oh, no, it's not a hoarder. It's just, if it ever goes out of stock, I cannot be without Valor, because I am not an introvert, but I am like an ambivert. Okay. So that is a person who is in between an introvert and an extrovert. When I go to anything social, like getting on tonight's call, I had to put Valor all over me. If I am going to be in a social situation, I have to use Valor, just because it gives me courage. This is exactly what Valor does. It's courage. It is empowering. It's balancing. So if I am going to be in a social situation that I know that I'm going to have to be like on, I have to have Valor. Like, it is just something that gives me a little bit of just de-stressing, and it gives me that courage that I need. Also, when I get home from social situations, don't get me wrong, I love social situations and I love people. But when I get home from social situations, if I've taken on other people's emotions, because I'm a true empath, then I will have to use Valor again, because it will help me to release some of those emotions that I've brought on. Plus, I get so exhausted after certain situations that I will use it to help me to kind of keep on going, because it's not like I get to stop when I come home. I still have to parent, you know? So also, I will say that the way that I use Valor is I actually like to put it on my brainstem, and then I will take it in my hand and I will rub on my hair. And so basically what I do is I will just go lots of drops in my hand. Okay. Then I'll take it, put it on my brainstem, put it in my hair, and then I'll just inhale it. Okay. Because that, I just feel like it's getting everywhere, and it's going to stay with me for me to be able to smell my hair. So Gary Young created this oil in 1990, so it's been around for quite some time. It also it has black spruce in it, it has camphor in it, it has blue tansy, it has frankincense, and it has geranium. It helps with alignment of the spine. It helps with snoring. It helps with fear of obstacles, embarrassment, and failure. Y'all, and we all have been through that before. And so kind of what they were all talking about, just getting through those emotions, and getting, like, if you've had a time where you knew that you were going to have to get on stage somewhere and you had a really bad experience. Well, you have that fear and you have that roadblock, you know? And so what it's doing is, once you're using these oils and you're using that Valor, it's going to help open up just your mind, and just saying, okay, I am going to overcome that fear. I'm going to overcome that embarrassment, you know? And so Valor is just an oil that you can use every single day. They say for the Feelings kit specifically, just like Sarah was saying, is to put it on the soles of your feet. And I loved what she said. I had not read this, but she had said she puts it on one side, and to close it off, then she puts it on her other. So that's like a beautiful concept to think about. You know, you're putting it on one. It's also part of the raindrop technique as well. And so what they do before they do the raindrop, they will put Valor on the feet, and then they'll hold the feet. And one time I did a raindrop on Chase. This is before I had really even known. I was just like reading the protocol of how to do it. And no, it was my mom this time. Either Chase or my mom, one of them. I can't remember. But I was holding their feet and I literally felt their emotion go out of their body into my body. And it was like the weirdest thing, because it was like it overwhelmed me, but I could literally, by holding on to their feet and me having the Valor on my hands and holding on to their feet, I could feel whatever was going on with them. I think it was my mom. It came right into my body. And so, Chase, can you remember if it was you or my mom? Okay, yeah. It was in our whole old house, so I'm just trying to think, because I did it to both of them. But I felt it come into me, so that's how powerful these oils are, but like everybody said, consistency is going to be the key. Amy, you may be able to say one of the affirmations that it maybe says on the protocol, because I don't have it, but some of the affirmations that you can say is, I am fearless and brave. I have nothing to be afraid of. Or, even if you're saying, I am courageous and I can get through these things, so it's allowing yourself to know that no matter what, you're going to be able to overcome these obstacles.
Vanessa,
Yes.
I just want to say something real quick.
Yeah.
I wrote down the affirmations and
Oh, good.
in my phone.
Okay.
And like it tells you like the order. I have it written down, like the reasons why I put certain oils in certain places. And like it says, Valor is a calming and grounding oil. I use it each morning to greet it with a positive attitude or to unwind from the day. And my affirmation is, I'm grounded in myself and the purpose that I have. Give me the ability to remain balanced. So like I have it written out for each one.
I love that.
Anybody is looking for that, like if they don't want to have to find their own, I can text it out.
I want that. Hey, also, I wanted to say that Valor balances and equalizes the body's energies, thereby increasing oxygen intake to the pineal gland. And so if you think about that too, it would be really good to use before you sleep, because that is the gland that actually produces melatonin. And so if you have trouble turning things off, or if you have trouble going to sleep, Valor would actually be a really good oil to use to help you sleep,
I use it before bed, and I also use it because it's kind of like a duo because of the blue tansy, frankincense, and geranium in it. It's very good for your skin.
Yes.
So, it can help with like blemishes or if you have dry skin. So it's really good for like a face serum. So like I put it on like right here on my chin where I get like hormonal acne or stuff like that. I put it like right here, so that way it's close to my nose and I can smell it while I sleep. And it's doing its job on my skin.
So what you're going to notice too really fast is you're going to come across affirmations that just don't seem like they resonate with you. And there could be a number of reasons for that. A, you could need to just rewrite the affirmation so that it makes sense and it's your words. Or B, maybe it's something that there is a blockage there that you need to work on. So if, for example, an affirmation could be, I am abundantly blessed. Well, that may or may not come easy for me to say. Maybe deep down inside, I actually don't feel abundantly blessed. Then it's not really going to, there's going to be a blockage there. Well, there's a technique called Aroma Freedom, and that technique is a step-by-step process for identifying and releasing negative thoughts, feelings, and memories that interfere with us reaching our goals and our dreams. So it's meant to be used as a way to set a person's emotional energy flowing in a positive direction towards growth and expansion rather than contracting in fear, doubt, and paralysis. I can say all I want, I am abundantly blessed, but if I have blockages there and I have fear that immediately comes around that, maybe I grew up where every time a blessing came, maybe a parent came in and took it away because they were abusive or something. I mean, anything. I'm kind of making that up. But there can be any emotion that immediately follows you saying that affirmation. So it's important to use something like Aroma Freedom Technique so that you can dig that stuff out. And this technique, you can find tons of them on YouTube. You could follow along with Aroma Freedom Technique there. I am a certified Aroma Freedom Technique practitioner, so I can do them as well. And I need some valor and I need a little push. And I would love that from Vanessa and Sarah, because Sarah loves the AFT and we can do them on here on Zoom. So you can basically, you make up a goal that you want. Maybe your goal is to be fit and healthy. So that's your goal. Then we come up with a affirmation with it later on, and then we start digging out why you haven't achieved that. Because honestly, if you have a goal, why haven't you achieved it? Something's blocking you. If you've always wanted to feel this way or feel that way or look this way or look that way or have this or accomplish that, why haven't you?
That's so true, Amy. Like, I'm talking, that is spot on, because we are always going to get in our way. Like, we are going to be the people that get in our own way every single time. And that's why literally I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm like, okay, so it's time for me to get the feelings kit, you know? So I would think, Amy, what you could do to tie this in is maybe set up an Aroma Freedom Technique, you know, just now. Like, if we can figure out a time for us to maybe all get back on and go through something, or even if you wanted to do it like where everybody could even get on Wellness Empowered, if you wanted to walk us through that or something like that, that would be awesome. Because I feel like that it, like, just following through with what you're just saying, you know?
So the more the merrier. I'm totally fine with doing a AFT on Zoom. That way anybody can get on that maybe, okay, you're going to use some different oils that are from your starter kit, and it's lavender, stress away, and frankincense. So if you have someone that is not a member and they don't have any oils, you can literally send them a little bottle with all 3 of those oils in there. Okay, so we could do it on Zoom. That way it's we all have each other, and if we need to stop and talk about something or whatever, we can. But just keep in mind, Aroma Freedom Technique can be done with your camera off, microphone off, you not even saying a single word, and you could have some huge results from that. So I've led people through an AFT where I pre-recorded it, and they had great results, right, Sarah? You did it at the house with your girls that came over. So
Yeah, you have one in a group that I have separately, and people that even have just one oil have walked through them and made life-changing results with walking through it once. Like, I have a girl that messages me probably once a week and tells me that she didn't used to be able to plan for things, and now she is making a career of, like, being a planner and making these creative planners. And it's been like 2 months or something, and she only had one oil, and she lives far from me. So
buying retail is a good option. I mean, you get great products. You're getting the absolute top of the line essential oils on the market. Doing retail is really good, but it's a much better option to have a wholesale kit or a wholesale account. Our company is like Amazon Prime meets Costco. I mean, how cool is that? So we're getting stuff right to our door, free shipping. And in addition to that, we also, as the absolute best option, most of us have monthly wellness boxes. So we save an additional up to from somewhere between 10 and 25% back on our purchases. So I know that may sound confusing, especially if you're new. So just talk to the person who invited you to this webinar tonight. Okay, I guess that's it. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to share or questions? Anything at all?
I was just gonna say real quick, to those of you that I sent those affirmations to, I just want to reiterate what Amy was saying. Like, the affirmations that I have written in there might not be the way you want to say it, and that's totally fine. So just remember that, like the one, because the affirmations were like what I tailored them to kind of what I wanted to say. So if you got them and you like are going through them and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that, then change it. It's totally fine. So I just wanted to reiterate that.
That's perfect.
Well, I appreciate it because that's more of like a guideline along the way versus, just what you said. So having that guideline to it. And this is Ashley. But anyways, what I was going to say too was just recently I went to a chiropractor that did, he did functional chiropractic. And he told me when you do stress and everything else, between your neck up, it keeps your brain cannot function with the rest of your body because you're under so much stress. So when you start to use the oils and things like that, and you start to de-stress your brain, then it ends up going to the rest of your body and your body aligns out perfectly. So you're not having all that stress in your body all the time.
That's awesome. I had never heard that before. That makes complete sense. Perfect sense. And I'm like you, Ashley. I need to have like what Tana has is a guideline, and just to give me an idea. Like, when the teacher says, let's brainstorm, and you're just sitting there like, but then she writes something down, and then okay. And then now the ball's rolling. Okay.
One other thing I said when I talked earlier that I would show the new diffuser that I just got. So isn't it pretty?
It's beautiful.
I just had my husband come in and I made him look at it. It's the Lucia diffuser. And
I can't wait to get all my stuff. I'm so excited.
Blown glass.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love it. Love it.
I like the purple.
Yeah. So pretty. I'm obsessed. And the little button has like time measuring things. Oh, it's dark, isn't it? But it says 60, 90, and 120, so you don't have to guess
Oh, awesome.
what's on there. So
That's
anyway.
good. Us people from Texas, we lose our train of thought.
Sorry. I had to show you.
Bad joke. No, that was awesome. No, I'm saying we lose, like we don't know how to press the button. I'm like, press
Oh, which one? Yeah, there's that.
Done. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for coming.
I have a really random question.
Oh, sure.
I just y'all made me think about my oils. Does anybody know what this is used for?
Shutron. Well, okay. So I can tell you, and Shannon, I would love for your input on this too. Well, my husband uses it as cologne. And you want to talk about like a dog smelling meat? When I smell that cologne, I'm like, hey. So that oil is literally, it's, shit, what are you laughing at? Why are you on this? That oil has blue spruce in there as well, or black spruce. And it also supports the male energies and testosterone support, male hormones as well. So, I mean, if you were super, super low, I would say go see a doctor, but it's still going to support male hormones, male energy, confidence, all of it. And it smells really good. Shannon, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, you really said it. I don't know if my husband loves it as much as I do, so therefore he loves it because I do. But it works great for him. I mean, he uses it all the time like cologne.
Yeah. And it's really strong. You don't need a whole lot. So what I would do is just like start putting a little bit like right here and maybe on your wrist or something, but just all you need is like one drop and then just kind of dab it in, because too much is too much. But you may start noticing people noticing you, and then you'll be noticing them noticing. noticing me. Okay, that's all.
Hold on, I didn't get what Nikki said.
Oh, it's kind of muted.
She said, watch out because that stuff is potent. So in other words, be careful.
Ashley, are you a lip reader?
Well, you know, when you're a math teacher and a school teacher, that's usually what you do. So, you know, hey,
Yeah.
you know, especially if you want to get in kids' conversations, that really helps.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, any other questions? Anybody else? Okay. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful night. We'll see
Thank you, Amy,
Thank
for
you.
facilitating all this.
Ladies.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Amy.
Good to see you, Tillman.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Amy.
Thank you. Bye.